Senator, West Virginia.
Thank you so much, sir. Well, I don't come to you very often, but I come to you when I come with important stuff. You know, I'm not a politician. It's easy for you to see that. We have so much work that can be done and should be done all the time here. You know, I'm going to speak to you today about folks that we owe everything to. Not some, but everything to. You know, I said so many times as the governor of West Virginia, I said over and over and over that we owe every single thing to those who've served in our military, the active folks that are serving in our military. They have given us everything, everything. You know, in my little state of West Virginia, we're really proud because we step up. We step up in every way. I'm here today in a lot of ways for Sarah and Andy, too. Surely to God above, we have not forgotten Sarah and Andy. We just lost Sarah Beckstrom, a great National Guardsman. Absolutely, in the prime of her life, 20 years old, gunned down right on our streets here. And Andy Wolf continues to fight for his life. And he's improving. He's done wonderful. Andy, in many ways, is our miracle. Our miracle for not only West Virginia, but our miracle for this nation in lots of ways. But I also come today on something that is enormously important. I come today with my bill for this nation, for the most prestigious honor, the most prestigious medal in our military, and that's the Medal of Honor. I want to talk to you about the namesake of this bill, Woody Williams. You know, Woody was a friend, a good friend. His name, Herschel Woody Williams. My bill is Senate Bill 858. It's going to be called the Herschel Woody Williams National Medal of Honor Monument Location Act. And in a few minutes, I'll ask for unanimous consent to this. I'll ask that we'll quit playing these silly, silly, silly politics and step up to the plate and honor absolutely those that have given, in many instances, the ultimate sacrifice. So with all that being said, as I move forward here, I would say to you this. My bill is a testament that will go on the National Mall. It's fully funded. It's fully funded with private donations. We absolutely know that the recipients of the Medal of Honor, absolutely those folks all the way back to the Civil War, those folks have been in every single conflict that this nation has been in. And it is so enormously important, it's off the chart. This monument in the National Mall will be in proximity to the other memorials and monuments that remember wars that these individuals fought and died in in an absolutely appropriate setting. This monument reflects the American people's collective appreciation for the Medal of Honor recipients' bravery and stands as a lasting tribute to their legacy. These individuals come from every corner of our nation, from Hawaii to Maine, from every state. We have at least one individual from every state that has gone beyond the call of duty. Mr. President, these people are like Army Sergeant Brian Bucher from Maine. These people are like Navy Ensign Charles Hammond from Maryland, Air Force Master Sergeant John Chapman from Massachusetts, Coast Guard Signalman First Class Douglas Monroe from Washington State. Mr. President, we are honored to have these great recipients, many of them with us today. But I do know that two are really right here with us today. U.S. Major General Patrick Brady from South Dakota, who served in Vietnam and made several missions to evacuate wounded soldiers. He utilized 3 helicopters in a single day to evacuate 51 seriously injured men. It's unbelievable. It's totally unbelievable. The bravery, the sacrifice, unbelievable. We also have with us U.S. Army Lieutenant Colonel William Swenson from Washington State. And living up to California, made multiple trips to the enemy's kill zone to evacuate wounded soldiers and recover 4 fallen U.S. servicemen. I just don't know how in the world. You talk about this unbelievable bravery. You talk about their unbelievable sacrifice. They've given so much in every single way, and we should be so proud. Like I said a few minutes ago, we're asking to do something in the National Mall. It's been vetted in every single possible way. The House has passed it unanimously. We passed it out of committee unanimously. Honestly, what is wrong with us in America? What could possibly be wrong with us in America to not step up, and do something as small but as great as this for our greatest medal recipients? The Medal of Honor. Absolutely. I tell you this, I'm grateful to be joined in this effort by 12 senators that have co-sponsored, including 5 of my colleagues from the Energy and Natural Resources Committee. Again, I underline, this passed the House 414 to 0. It passed committee without objection. It is absolutely unbelievable that the National Medal of Honor Museum Foundation has been a great champion and partner on this bill. The National Congress of American Indians has also supported this effort, as it has 42 recipients that are Native Americans. Mr. President, and it is unthinkable for me. I'm new to the game. I've got white hair and done a lot of stuff. But Mr. President, absolutely, if we can't do this, we have a miserable approval rating as it is, 14%. I don't see how in the world it's 14%, to tell you the truth. But if we have 14% as our approval rating of what we do, we should be disgraced off the chart. But Mr. President, if we can't step up and support these heroes that have given the ultimate sacrifice beyond belief, these people that absolutely have a level of courage and bravery, have a level of service, have a level of sacrifice that is totally off the chart. Totally off the chart. Do we not realize that every single solitary thing we have, everything that we have today is due to folks like this? So, Mr. President, in every way, I hope and pray that we'll just stand up and say, absolutely, unanimously, we consent. as if in legislative session, not withholding, Rule 22, I ask unanimous consent that the Committee on Energy and Natural Resources be discharged from further consideration of Senate Bill 858 and the Senate proceed to immediately consideration. Further, that the Justice Substitute Amendment at this desk be considered and agreed to, the bill as amended to be considered, read a third time and passed, and that the motion to reconsider be considered, made, and laid upon the table.
Is there objection?
Reserving the right to object.
Senator of California.
Mr. President, as we know, the Commemorative Works Act restricts new museums and memorials from being built on the National Mall without an act of Congress. It's one of the ways Congress likes to try to maintain and be mindful of the evolution of the National Mall and the monuments and museums that meet our collective bipartisan standard for placement there. Since I first arrived in the Senate, I've been working across the aisle to support the building of two important museums on the National Mall. One being the Smithsonian National Museum of the American Latino, the other being the Smithsonian American Women's History Museum. Both of these efforts, long-standing, bipartisan. In fact, Senator Cruz and I, along with Senator Moreno and others, have a bipartisan bill that would adopt this necessary language for placement on the mall. Meanwhile, Senators Klobuchar and Lummis have a bipartisan bill to do the same for the Women's Museum. And so, let me be clear, I wholeheartedly agree that the sacrifices made by Medal of Honor recipients should have a place of recognition for all Americans to see in our nation's capital. And I also supported the senator from West Virginia's bill when it came before the Energy and Natural Resources Committee just yesterday morning. As ranking member of the Rules Committee, let me also offer to the senator from West Virginia and his constituents some good news. I'm happy to share that the committee is working as we speak to approve the installation of a statue in the Capitol for National Medal of Honor recipient Herschel Woody Williams, the individual whom the placement legislation is named after. But as I shared in committee yesterday morning, I also believe that the story of the American Latino and the fight for equality by American women should also be enshrined on the National Mall. So have an amendment that would add the text of those bills to Senate Measure 858 to also allow the Latino and women's museums to be built on the National Mall. Now, my colleague from West Virginia was very eloquent, very passionate, and I share his conviction. The effort to approve the placement language, the location language for the Latino Museum and the Women's Museum has been held up far too long. So I hope the senator from West Virginia will join me in trying to do away with the, what was that he said, the silly politics. Because when you look at the history of Latinos in America, it includes more than 60 Medal of Honor recipients, beginning with Phil Bazor and John Ortega for their service in the Civil War. Latino contributions, including paying the ultimate sacrifice, is nothing new. And it includes, by the way, David M. Gonzalez from my hometown of Pacoima for his bravery during World War II. The history of women in America includes the story of Dr. Mary Edwards Walter, a Medal of Honor recipient. All these stories deserve to be told in a location of prominence. So as I said yesterday morning, when the Energy and Natural Resources Committee marked up and approved Senate Bill 858, I made remarks at the time clearly announcing my intention to offer this amendment when the Medal of Honor bill would come up for consideration on the floor of the Senate. And so here I am. This shouldn't be a surprise to anybody. So I would urge my colleagues to agree to include my amendment so that all three of these bills can finally move forward after years and years of hard work and bipartisan support. Thank you, Mr. President. The senator to modify his request so that my amendment, which is at the desk, be considered and agreed to, that the Justice Substitute Amendment as amended be considered and agreed to, the bill as amended be considered read a third time and passed, and that the motions to reconsider be considered, made, and laid upon the table.
Is there an objection to the modification?
Mr. President,
Senator West Virginia.
I'm reserving the right to object. My bill's gone through all the steps. Our great senator here that's speaking, his bill has not gone through the steps, and it being held up is surely not my fault. And of everything in the world, it's not these great recipients' fault. I may have missed one person that could possibly be in our gallery, and that is Marine Corps Captain Raymond Murphy of Colorado. But I want to just tell you just this, sir. We've gone through every step the right way. We've gone through the hearings, the markups, the unanimous passage by the ENR committee. Therefore, I absolutely object in every single way. His bills have not gone through the committee. His bills have not had a hearing that has been passed out of committee. This is absolutely skipping the proper steps. I may be new, but we've done it right. And absolutely what we're doing is we're turning our back on the greatest of the greatest of the greatest. This is the very thing, the very, very thing. I support the museums that he speaks of. We all would. But absolutely, this act right here is the very root of what is wrong with us. For God's sakes of living, how do you absolutely look at those great people? How do you look at what they've given all of us and turn your back on them? I don't get it. I absolutely object.
Is there an objection to the original request?
Reserving the right to object, Mr. President.
Senator of California.
Want to set the record straight. The museum efforts that I talked about have gone through all the proper steps. There have been committee hearings. They have been approved by committee. They've been approved in prior Congresses separately by actually both chambers. So they're ready to move. I'm disappointed, but frankly not surprised that the amendment is not accepted. And so therefore, I object and would look forward to working with my colleague from West Virginia and anybody else to advance all three of these proposals as expeditiously as possible.
The objection is heard.
I'm sorry?
Senator of West Virginia.
I'm not going to volley back and forth. Here's a rules committee. You know, not this Congress. Like I said before, I absolutely object.